Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Guys on Draft. And similar to last week, there's just two guys here.
But the best two, I think.
The best two. I mean, I am in both. I'm the elbow of this arm. But we are here with another banger. And if you don't know, this is a show where we draft things. So we come up with a subject or we get one from one of our lovely listeners, if you would be so kind to do so. And we just draft away. And we try to make the best team out of whatever subject it is. And today we have a continuation, or I guess the sister episode of the one we did earlier in the year. Was it this year or was it?
Yeah, well, I think
this year?
I think it was late last year, actually.
Late last year, this year. Either way, you go back in the logs and check that out. That one was unsexy female names. And today we're going to be drafting unsexy or less than sexy male names. So that means basically a name that you hear and you just, the picture you get in your head is not ideal. I think that's the way I looked at it. I know a lot of guys. I'm sure you do, and in your time you come across a lot. So with that being said, I think we're going to have Rocky spin the wheel, right? And then we'll just figure out who's going first, and we'll get right into it. The funny thing about guys' names, right, is that...
All right, looks like I'm the 1-1.
You're 1-1, I'm 1-2.
You're 1-2.
So my dad, I don't know if I told you this before, my father almost named me Jamie. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So my mother, thank God for my mother. She said you can't name him Jamie because it's too. I mean, I know it's unisex, but Jamie's it's a softish name.
Yeah. Yeah. No. It could be. It's one of those ambidextrous names. It can be guy or girl. I feel like
Yeah, that's what it's unisex. That's what I said, Rocky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, unisex. I like ambidextrous.
Yeah. Do you know any Jamies?
I do know Jamies, but I know 3.
All men, all female.
2 are girls. Yeah.
Oh, so you got one Jamie. What kind of guy is that one Jamie?
Yeah, I mean he's kind of grew up with a Napoleon complex. He was always trying to overcome his name.
You think so?
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah, and then he tried to shorten it. He tried to get us to call there were some nicknames he wanted us to call him.
Jam.
He wanted to go by Jay, and we're like, no, we pick nicknames. You don't pick nicknames. I don't know how you think this works, but
Jamie's tough. It's a tough name.
Yeah.
I knew a Jamie. All right, your turn, Rocky.
Yeah, this to me is easy at 1-1. I feel like there is no other name.
I got a list here.
I think that you go when you talk about a woman and a woman that no one likes.
Yeah,
it's Karen.
Okay.
Right? And so with the 1-1, the clear pick is Chad. I've never not known if your name is Chad.
Chad is good.
You're a prick.
Chad is good, and it's not on my list.
Or a dweeb. No, it's Chad. Chad to me is 1-1. It was the first name I thought about. It doesn't. I don't think of manly men. I don't. It's just Chad. I think it's kind of So
hey, no, that is a worthy 1-1. I'm not going to argue with that too much, Chad. I don't know how I didn't have it on the list.
Yeah. It was like I said, it was the first to me.
Okay. So I mean, I think this is right there though. This is a very old sounding name, and there's a bunch of those. I'm not gonna just skew old here, but I think the sound of this name and sometimes what it rhymes with can make it less than appealing. And I'm going with Lester. Is it a name you hear a lot? No. But I still think Lester, the first thing I think of is molester right after.
Yeah. Chester the molester.
Chester.
Yeah.
Is it Chester? I said Lester?
Well, no, there is a Lester.
There is a Lester,
and
but
you
it's
said
not,
it.
I did
you said it. But I think you were going for Chester.
I think I was going for Chester, but I like Lester. I'm going to stick with Lester.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to make you.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Yeah. I don't like this name.
No, I don't like Lester either, but it takes some of the punch out when it was Chester, the molester.
Yeah, Chester and molester.
I got a long list here.
Okay, so I'm going to try to go here. And, I'm trying to not name names of my close friends.
No, you shouldn't.
Because, it's going to be an awkward conversation.
You should do it. Yeah, throw my name in there. Go for it.
No, because I think Phil's a respectable name. I got
It is
no
a
issue with
respectable
it.
name.
Yeah, I honestly think Zach
Yeah.
is a Zaddy. Now that's unsexy beyond
That's
belief.
disgusting.
Yeah, but
It's up there with Chad.
trying to think of what name I don't like, and this one to me is a clear two, and that's Kyle.
You don't like Kyle, huh?
Nah.
So I feel like you're
I only know
going-
one nice Kyle that's a good-looking guy. That is Kyle Baker. I think
That's
we all
funny
know-
because
yeah.
you know a few Kyles. So
Yeah, I do. But like Kyle Baker, he's a good-looking guy.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he's manly. And then a lot of the other Kyles I know, no, not quite as much.
I think I might have to change my strat here because I have some older names. You're going more current, and I think it's going to curry some favor, and I don't want that.
Well, yeah.
So Kyle is good, and I think I'm going to jump a few of my picks here, and I'm going to jump down to a name that I just think is now maybe you like this name because maybe you like this kind of guy or the image, but I hear this name I think is straight laced, shoes tied as tight as they could be, shirt tucked, just a guy who wants nothing more than to have a big piece of steak and sit in the house on a Friday night. I'm talking about Dan.
Oh,
I'm talking about Dan.
Dan the man. Yeah.
Dan is it's Dan. Dan is the guy at the office you don't date. Like Dan is that guy. When I hear Dan, I just think of pocket protector, the glasses, $6 tie. That's Dan to me. I don't know how. Do you know cool Dans? Because I know some Dannies.
Yeah,
Danny's
okay.
cool.
Yeah, Danny's okay.
And it's funny, but Dan is not Danny.
Yeah, so I think if you go by, it's kind of like, well, I don't want to throw out names here because we might get to them later, but I agree. Danny, no, that's cool.
Danny's cool because Dan is not cool enough to call Danny.
Yeah.
Nobody gets to know Dan enough to call him Danny.
Yes.
I
think if you're introduced as Danny, you have a possibility of getting a date.
Yeah, you get laid.
Yeah, but if you're Dan, yeah,
nobody calls you Dan if you're cool. Dan.
Yeah. I'm trying to, because I'm trying to go like so far. I feel like Chad and Kyle have been clearly like white names.
They have been. I got diversity here.
Yeah, but like, it's awkward to not, to be Italian. It's hard to call out like some.
No, it's not. Just call it out. It's just a name.
Yeah, no. So, least sexy names, and I'm gonna throw this out there, and I don't know if this is gonna be a winner or not.
Yeah, go for it. Don't be scared. This is your personal preference.
Yeah, but I might save them for 4. I think I got a better one for 3, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it. This is an old name.
Yeah.
That it's still they still are naming people this.
Yeah.
But Frank.
Frank, it's funny.
Yeah, Frank's not like I don't know. Is it unsexy? Probably. It's more just like it's kind of boring. Like it doesn't say. Yeah, it doesn't really say anything about you. You know?
I mean, all right, so now we may differ because Frank. I think of a guy when I hear Frank.
Yeah, you think of a man.
I think of a man. I think this is a plumber. I think this is a guy that works with his hands. Yeah. So he could be an absolute slob, or he could be good looking too. It's like I don't know, but I know he's a blue collar.
Yeah.
Right? Like Frank is not chucking it up on the top floor of a high rises downtown Orlando.
But that's like to you, that's not sexy.
Well, it could be. You talking about the blue collar guy?
No, the white collar guy. Like you're kind of thinking that's like.
No, it depends. You could be sexy, white collar guy. You just can't be. You can't be Dan up there.
Yeah.
Who's like getting people drinks with the $6 tie? That's a different guy.
Okay, that's fair.
In the same space.
That's fair.
All right, so I'm just going here. I think this is multicultural. Not sure, but I'm going with Raymond.
Yeah, no, I would say
it feels clunky.
Yeah, well, Raymond is tough because like you get like somebody's going to try to call you Ray Ray. In fact, there's a wide receiver in the NFL, Ray.
But I feel like See, this goes back to my Dan thing. I feel like if your name is Raymond, nobody likes you. I'm just not because of your name. I just feel like if you are somebody that people like or women, that you're just a popular guy, confident guy, people know you well enough that they get to shorten that up. You get
Right.
to be Ray.
Right.
You know, you're not. Raymond is just a guy that nobody. No, that's Raymond.
Yeah.
Ray is like, this is my friend Ray.
Yeah.
You know, nobody says this is my friend Raymond.
Yeah.
You call Raymond the guy that you don't really talk to,
Yeah.
and if I'm not talking to you, it's probably because
I think if you're friends,
unsexy.
if you're friends with a guy named Raymond, or if you're married to, God forbid, a guy named Raymond,
God
or
forbid.
dating, you're definitely calling them
Ray.
some kind of like, you know, either nickname or shortening. Yeah.
You're not calling him Raymond unless you're upset with him
Yeah.
in a relationship, right?
And then you're thinking of like an 8-year-old boy.
yeah, Raymond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Raymond, did I tell you to pick up your
It's
toys?
a tough name.
Yeah. This is, I think it does skew a little bit more multicultural. I can't say like, I just have known a lot of,
You're saying too much by not saying a lot.
Damien.
Damien,
Yeah.
you don't like Damien.
I don't like Damien. I mean, you know, a demon, Satan in a movie was
In a movie,
Damien.
he was. Yeah, it has
Yeah.
a connotation to it.
And somehow it kind of broke out and then kind of like took a life of its own where
Yeah.
like a lot of people were named their sons Damien.
yeah,
And,
they're the evil.
yeah, I just, I don't like it. I don't think it's sexy. You know?
I don't think it's hot. I don't think it's. It is a weird. I don't think it's as bad as like. Well, maybe it is as bad. Thing is, I only know one Damien,
Right.
and he was a cool guy, so I'm skewed a little bit.
Yeah,
but
no, I know no cool. I know one guy that tried to overcome the name by trying to be a bully. You know, he had a good friend, Lucky.
Lucky and D,
Yeah.
Lucky and Damien.
Lucky Lang.
All right, I'm
Look
sticking
it up.
with the R's here, and I'm going for the black community. I'm just gonna come out and say it. I'm going with Roscoe. Roscoe's just not a. I mean, unless you're
They
going to
make the hell out of
Roscoe's,
some chicken and waffles.
Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles,
They do.
sure.
Yeah.
But if your name, you're just Roscoe,
Yeah.
I think you're like from a sitcom in the 70s or something. I mean, do you know a Roscoe?
Yeah.
You do know a Roscoe. Sorry, Roscoe.
Yeah, I do know Roscoe. Well, I think it could be a nickname. They do some of the best chicken and waffles I've ever had.
Okay, you've
Seriously,
been to Roscoe.
Yeah, no,
Yeah?
it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. But yeah, no, I don't think it's a sexy name.
It's not a sexy name.
It's almost like a like a joke.
In fact, it's the opposite. It's unsexy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is kind of like a.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. Maybe I shouldn't have picked it.
No, I would say, you know, this draft is going pretty quick. We're not really disagreeing.
There's not a lot. I mean, I haven't. I guess. Yeah, no, I pushed back on Frank a little bit, but yeah, I mean that's it.
I didn't want to name Frank because I do know a Frank who's, you know, he's manly. He's a good-looking kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know most Franks. There's a couple I want to say
You should.
here, but again, like I'm trying to go for the knife, like the final blow, you know. And I do tend to skew to like uptight, white sounding names.
Yeah, I got you.
You know. But I really want to close out strong here.
Mm-hmm.
Really want to close out strong here, and so I'm going to do this. And you know, I might offend some people. I think
All
this
right.
was a popular name. You know, when I was growing up, and then into the '90s. I think there has been one guy that, for a brief moment, was seen as sexy,
Yeah.
and then he became a punchline,
Oh no.
and that was Marky Mark.
Oh,
But
Mark.
I'm Mark. Yeah, no, it's an unsexy name. You know, most of the Marks that I'm around day in and day out, you know, there's
Yeah.
something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I got to go Mark here.
Mark's funny. I have a Mark variant here.
Yeah.
I have Marco.
Yeah, no, Marco. See, I know Marco.
I know Marco,
and I like
too.
him a lot.
So do I.
Yeah, so like, and I
But the
think he's
name-
sexy.
Oh, you think? Well, that's
So
different.
you know,
yeah.
it's hard because you know.
Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. I could go a lot of places here. I'm thinking, should I go with something more current or should I go with my heart here? I mean, I have one that's along the lines of Chad, but just a different ethnic group that I think people hear and they just think automatically this is just a stereotype kind of deal. And I'm thinking of that, but then I have another one in that same ethnic group, I guess you would say. It's old school, probably get a little bit of a chuckle. So I don't know where to go, but it's gonna hurt me to say this
All right.
because it's my uncle's name. it's my middle name, but I'm gonna go with Anthony.
Oh,
I think Anthony is like prototypical Italian. I think that is the Italian version of Chad.
but I don't know. I'll be honest here.
No,
I don't know an unsexy Anthony.
well, you know a lot of sexy Anthonys.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going with the name more than the guy. Yeah, but there's probably some sexy Anthony's. I'm not saying that, but I think it's just a stereotypical
No,
Italian
it's definitely
guy name.
stereotypical Italian guy name.
And I feel like people now just associate it with fist pumping, getting drunk,
You got
lifting too much
Anthony.
weights.
You got Dominic.
Dominic's another good one.
Yeah, but and maybe it's just because I think all Italian men are sexy as hell.
That's fine.
I do. Like, there's
So
like,
I'll tell you the one we'll do a quick honorable mentions. The one I was battling with was Giuseppe.
Oh,
You love that.
yeah, that's
See,
my middle
that's
name.
Well, there you go. Look, I had our two middle names.
Luigi, Rocco, Luigi, Giuseppe.
I just didn't think people would relate with it. But I'll give you my other ones. I got Herman on here.
Yeah, I had Bert.
I got Bart.
Yeah,
I got Gus.
I got Gus, but I didn't want to do that because a guy that attached to our show
Who?
is Gus. Gus.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah, Gus up in
That's
Indy.
still a bad name.
Bert,
Howard.
I had a Howard.
Did you have Hank? I was going to go Hank,
no,
but you
'cause-
said Frank.
I think Hank's kind of a manly name.
So was Gus.
Gus could be, but by being unsexy, I don't know many Gus's that are ladies lady killers.
That's true.
I
had Hubert.
Yes.
I had Milton.
I forgot about Milton. That would be good.
And for some more ethnic ones, I had Devontae,
Yeah.
Darius.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
like
Darius.
Darius?
Yeah. Yeah.
I have Wayne.
I had Debo. I thought about throwing Debo on there.
Debo's like Roscoe almost, right?
Yeah.
Lloyd.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. I picked Dan, right? Yeah. I had Greg.
Greg was on. Yeah. Greg was there, but I felt like after I went Chad and Kyle, Greg kind of fit into that same mold.
Yeah. Hey, well, that's the unsexy male names draft. I mean,
We should probably
recap it for Gus.
Who are you? Team Who Are You? We've got Chad, Kyle, Frank, Damian, and Mark.
All right, and team Say My Name. I went with Lester. Should be Chester. Number 2, I went with Dan. I went with Raymond at 3. I went with Roscoe at 4. And the ever so controversial Anthony at pick 5. Yeah, guys, so if you like the show and you'd like to see it with more than 2 guys on it, go to our playlist. I think have over 100 episodes.
Yep.
Drafts on everything you could think of. Some of our funniest stuff is in the archives there, so don't be afraid to dive in. Like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Make sure you go to our socials at GON Podcast, specifically TikTok, where we got a bunch of clips of other shows.